Due to policies involving YouTube and COPPA, this disclaimer is to inform you that this video is not for YouTubers under 17. Viewer discretion advised. Thank you. Hey everyone, this is J-Dog, and I'm here with another video. So I'm looking at this BuzzFeed news article. It's by Darren Sands. So, Democrats are freaking out about pro-Trump messaging to occasional black voters. Looks like Democrats are starting to lose black voters, and rightfully so, because some of these Democrats, well, majority of these Democrats have done nothing for the black community. But neither has the Republicans. But finally, the years of just neglecting black voters, the Democrats are finally going to start feeling the pain. And black people are now starting to wake up and leave the Democrat Party. But that doesn't mean I support black people going to the Republicans, because the Republicans are just as racist, and they're a lot worse. But let's see what this article is talking about. We haven't yet found the right language to make the community feel as if we understand where they're coming from and what's actually happening to them, the DNC officially said. Well, here's what's happening. We're now starting to ask for tangibles, and you're not trying to give us anything, so we're leaving, and we're either going to another party or just not going to vote. Unless, of course, someone decides to help us out. Anyway, Washington. The Democrats are getting increasingly worried that black Americans with the uneven voting history may tune out Democratic candidates in 2020. That's because none of them are promising anything for black Americans. As fringe messaging campaigns and disinformation breeds incendium over what the party has done for black Americans. Not really much has been done for black Americans. And what do you mean by disinformation? Some of that information is true about the Democrats. Remember, the Democrats was the one that created the KKK and stuff like that. It was the Democrats that created that 3 strikes law and stuff like that. Democrat National Committee source told BuzzFeed News the party is tracking a new set of loosely organized online movements that officially believes are trying to steer black voters away from the party or from voting altogether. The groups are varied in their approach, but share a common thread of deep suspicion of the Democrat Party and a apparent determination to seize upon the hypersensitive political movement in a country with deeply troubled racial past. There is a racial past. There's racism still going on. See, the Democrats are getting worried because they realize by not doing nothing for the black community, black community is starting to look side-eyed to them and side-eyed to black people. Black people are looking at the Democrats sideways, and rightfully so. Democrats have not been doing much. The party is paying particularly attention to the American descendants of slavery, or ADOS, a group that believes reparations should be paid solely to Americans who can trace their lineage back to people who were themselves enslaved. The group had previously been under suspicion of being made as Russian blacks. That's a lie right there. And I don't remember ADOS even being associated with the Trump. See, this article is saying pro-Trump. ADOS, which is actually a lineage, not a group. If you are a descendant of American slaves, if you're a descendant of Dred Scott, Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, you are considered an ADOS or a foundational Black American, which is another term that also stands for those who are descendants of slaves. It is not a group, it's a lineage. Well, a group that, alright, lineage, the group has previously, alright, Blexit. Now this actually is the support of Trump. This is Candace Owens. Well, she stole the thing, but this is Candace Owens' thing. Blexit, a new outfit led by young Black conservatives arguing to vote for Donald Trump, is a vote against widespread immigration and abortion standing in the way of Black middle-class family values and foundational Black Americans and ADOS right. Now I actually support foundational Black Americans. Once again, just like ADOS, foundational Black Americans is a lineage, not a group. Well, some people, who are the so-called leaders. Foundational Black American is a lineage, not a group. A ADOS rival founded by independent filmmaker Tariq Nasheed. So they're bringing up Tariq Nasheed. Oh, by the way, ADOS is something that was brought up by Yvette and Tone Talk. Now here's the thing. They said pro-Trump messaging. What Tariq does is not pro-Trump. Tariq is anti-Donald. He's anti both Democrat and Republican. He says, and even myself, do not believe in voting for neither party. See, what they're doing is they're trying to lump these people together so they can target them because the Democrats are trying to win. They notice they have not been getting a lot of the Black votes. They're not guaranteed the Black vote. And if they lose in 2020, it's going to be a huge problem. Because right now they can't find a candidate that's going to be able to beat Trump. Or Trump, I say. And so far, the Black community is not happy with the candidates of the Democrat, and they're not happy with Donald Trump. Well, Blexit, which is Candace Owens' group, now they're happy with Trump. But foundational Black Americans, and I believe ADOS, is not in support of Trump. We as foundational Black Americans are about Black empowerment and getting tangibles, including reparations. The groups, once again, foundational Black American is a lineage, a heritage, not a group. The groups want Black voters to freely think about the impact of decade-long loyalty to the Democratic Party. Yeah, which has not been good. Most Black people have been loyal to the Democratic Party since the days of Kennedy. Hell, maybe even during the time of during the time of FDR. But mostly Kennedy and Lyndon LBJ. And so far we have really got nothing in return. Alright. Even as Black leaders have been at war with the party for years over resource and inclusion, Democrats often repeat the refrain that the party would never take Black voters for granted, but they have been taking Black voters for granted. Inside the party, though, the political advisors think it's likelier than not that most marginalized groups, Obama voters who skipped the midterm, and sporadic voters, those who are harder to pursue, have had at least some exposure to a anti-Democratic Party message. In some cases, party officials say Black Americans' dim view of the job Democrats have done governing in recent decades is colored by a grim economic outlook and uncertainty about the future. Well, yeah, where is the tangibles that the Democrat is promising the Black community? We're at the bottom of the wealth gap. So, and Democrats are supposed to be the friends of Black people, but they haven't showed us that they're friendly. See, the Democrats realize they have screwed up and has turned their back on Black people, and they know that they need us, because right now we're the number one voting bloc that's needed to win election. And that's why the Democrats are trying so desperate to get more non-Black people to come to this country so they can increase basically a Democratic bloc that doesn't need Black people no more. But right now they need Black people, and Black people are not falling for the okie doke anymore. The new anti-Democrat groups wants to appeal to Black Americans with a populist message rooted in ethnic culture and economic identity. They say is untethered to the Democratic plantation mentality, a political trope first used by Black Republicans in the 1960s. In interviews, Black Democrats say the party itself is partly to blame. Yes, the reason why some Black people are leaving the Democrat Party because the Democrats have not done enough for the Black community, for the Black diaspora. Party leaders have failed to further understand the voters who have boosted them at the polls. That's exactly right. The Democrats have done nothing to keep Black people to stay, to convince Black people to stay in the party. And now they're starting to lose. DNC operatives are taking the challenge seriously and are now working on several Black outreach efforts, including seat at the table. See, now they're going to try to find ways to try to lure us back in. And try to find ways to lure us back in without the need for tangibles, like this seat at the table, which is catered towards Black women, and the chop it up tour. What about something for Black? Which is designed to engage Black men. Also, for Black men, we have this chop it up tour. National Democrats say they want to equip voters with a clear sense of what Democrats have delivered for Black people, especially under Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, says Cyrus Garrett, the DNC African American political director. Well, here's what Bill Clinton delivered to Black people: the 3 strikes law that put a lot of Black people in prison. And I'm not really sure what Obama really delivered. Garrett says there was not a forceful enough answer to the question of what Black Americans have to lose in 2016. We already know that our platform is aligned with what they need, but we need a way to communicate that more so that when people ask them what the Democrats have done, they can easily talk about it, Garrett says. But we haven't yet found the right language that makes the community feel as if we understand where they're coming from and what actually is happening to them. A lot of it just listening to how they say it. We're trying to tell you we want tangibles, we want reparations, we want it easier to get loans to build businesses and stuff. We want cash payment reparations, and so far no one is promising us that. And see, the DNC is going to try to track us because they know that black people are starting to wake up against both parties, saying that both parties have caused issues. But and we're only going to vote finally. We're finally going to put our votes for sales, meaning we're only going to vote for the party that's actually going to give up black people stuff, not just hand our votes over for no reason because we don't like someone or blah, blah, blah. The DNC security team is also actively preparing to push back against disinformation targeting black voters. What do you mean by disinformation? You mean some of the stuff that the people who who say the term foundational black American, we've actually been speaking the truth. We've done research on what the Democrats have been doing and the deception of the Democrats. We're the foundational black Americans. Us as foundational black Americans are informing people that we're not going to just give away our votes for no reason and get nothing in return. So how is that disinformation? And when we talk about certain candidates, about some of their flaws and stuff, that's actually true. That's not disinformation. Brexit might be disinformation because it supports Trump, but foundational black Americans is not disinformation. Disinformation targeting a black, targeting at black voters. Bob Lord, the DNC's chief security officer, who was brought in to strengthen the party's cybersecurity infrastructure after the DNC was hacked, decreased the unethical, inactive behavior or bad actors who aim to mislead black voters and dissuade them from participating in the 2020 election. Here's the thing. Why don't Democrats actually give us tangibles, give us reparations or other policies that's going to specifically help the black community, and we'll think about voting. If you're not going to give us any of that, then why should we vote for you? I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just going to just want to show a little bit. See, the Democrats, they realize that a lot more black people are waking up and they're just desperate now. But why do you think they're doing this impeach against Trump? Because if they know that they may not be able to win with just voting alone, that they may have to see if the impeach can help remove Trump. Or Trump, I say. And so far, the Democrats have not brought us anything. But that's all. I'm going to leave the link to the article in the description box and comment section in case you want to read it. But that's all I'm going to read for now. It's just the Democrat parties are pathetic. Like I said, leave in the comments in the comment section what you think. Make sure you like. Like the video. I'll also leave links to different accounts for you to follow me on. So to check them out. But that's all I have to say for now. This is J-Dog. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch y'all in another video. Peace, everyone.